Well, here we are again. It's the Culinary Kid coming at you. We're going to end up doing some egg rolls today. I'm going to put a little different spin on it than I usually do. This should be pretty good. It's going to be kind of like a Philly cheesesteak egg roll. I'm going to show you. This is what I got right here. This is the mixture. You got in here, you got some Italian sausage, ground Italian sausage. You got some serrano peppers in here, and I got some orange peppers. So we're going to go ahead and make these up real quick. Like I said, if you were paying attention last time, these are just egg roll wrappers. You can get these at Kroger's. You can get them pretty much anywhere. And they're very cheap. But what we're going to do is we're going to put a little pile of everything in here, just like that. It don't have to be too much, but we can get a little pile going. And I don't know how many I'm going to get out of here, but I took a couple Italian sausages and I took the skin off of them, and here we are. So we're going to roll it up just like this. Get a nice tight roll. See how I'm doing? Nice tight roll. Then I'm going to take my edges. I'm going to flip those over. I'm going to flip these over. Take a little bit of egg. Go on top here. And we're just going to roll them nice and tight. And you see what I got here? Just a nice little egg roll, okay? And like I said, these are great because you can take them and you can put them in the freezer. You can flash fry them again for like your kids and stuff like that if they want something on the go. So we'll just go ahead and put a little bit more. Like I said, it's important that you don't overstuff these because you don't want really too much. You know, you just want to keep them kind of the same size. So, but you don't want it coming out the edges there. So we're going to go ahead and roll this one, take a little bit of egg, put it on top so that it sticks together, and there it is. Okay, now get a little rag over here because we're going to continuously wipe my hands while I'm doing this, but it'll go pretty quickly once you find out the right amount that you want to put in here, you know. And like I said, try to keep them consistent. Try to keep them a little bit consistent. I like a little bit of heat in mine, so that's why I chose the serrano pepper. Gives a nice heat to it at the end. So, and I'll show you what we're going to garnish with. We're going to garnish with some of that honey right there. I would have used Mike's Hot Honey because it is one of my favorites. But I decided that I was just going to go ahead and buy some honey and then incorporate the heat inside. So kind of the same thing, but we're going to go right along here. And you want to use all of your mixture, of course. And like I said, freeze these. It's okay. You know, pop them in the fryer for a little bit. You know, when the kids get home from school or whatever, they want a quick snack. This is perfect for that. So we had a little escapee right there, but we'll go ahead and throw you back in the mix. But we're going to go right on here again. You know, we're trying to keep them all consistent. You know, you do the best you can, but all in all, you know, they should stay pretty consistent. Put a little more egg wash on it and they'll stick a little better for you. But we're chucking right along here, you know. And like I said, these are great for football events. If you got a, you know, potluck going on and some people want some egg rolls, because you can take these and put them in the oven, you know, after you cook them. Once they're frozen, you can always take them and put them on a sheet tray and rewarm them that way, you know, which is okay. You know, I mean, it's not a bad thing to do. It'll work that way too. So you can bring them to events, you know, wouldn't be bad for like a Christmas party or something like that. Or a New Year's Eve party if you got something going on with the family, you know, and you want to bring some little appetizers. This would make it on Santa's list right here. I'll tell you that much. So we're gonna go ahead and stack her up. You know, you might have a little escapees. You know, they just go back in the bowl, and we're gonna go ahead and roll this one up. And we're already about halfway through that bowl. You know, I mean, it doesn't take long to do these. I don't know why people want to go to the store and buy all this stuff when it's actually cheaper to make it on your own, you know? It really is. And all it does is take a little bit of time, and you can do it for half the cost. So here we go. You know, it's coming along pretty quick here. I mean, I'll show you the whole fry and everything, but if you watched all my other videos, it's going to be the same thing. So we're just doing it with a little different filling. And, you know, I do everything in egg rolls. You can make breakfast egg rolls. You can make pulled pork egg rolls. You can make any kind of egg rolls that you want. Put whatever you want in here. Put your own little spin. Get some barbecue going, you know. Pack it up with some barbecue. It's okay. Nobody says that you got to do the standard traditional stuff. You know, if you notice on any of my cooking videos, I pretty much don't do the standard stuff. I take, you know, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I put my own twist on it, and, you know, you're reinventing the wheel, kind of, you know, just taking it and making it into something that it wasn't. So here we are again, doing the same thing. I thought myself I would like a I would like a cheesesteak, but I didn't have any of the actual stuff you need for cheesesteak. But, you know, I did have some sausage, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put a little different spin on it and see how it turns out. You know, this is kind of like an experiment at the same time, and you're learning a little bit of something, what you like and what you don't like, but these look great, you know? I mean, I'm sure they're going to taste good. There won't be no problem there. So you just got to be a little creative with it, and, you know, try to take everything to the next level. Think about, hey, you know, I had this, I have this in the fridge. What can I do with it, you know? Can I spin it into an egg roll? Sure, why not, you know? I mean, who says? There's no law that says you can't, so here we are. We're going to spin it into an egg roll and have ourselves some egg rolls for dinner, and, you know, I'll have them in the freezer for a couple days, I'm sure, you know, and we could just put them all together and take them out as we need them, you know? So this is a good way to do it. You can do what you want, put whatever fillings, you know, you can even do dessert egg rolls. If you know how to do it, you know, you could take maybe some cheesecake, you know, make a cheesecake one with a little chocolate drizzle on it. I'm not telling you that it's going to be healthy for you by any means, but I will tell you this, it will taste good, I guarantee. So, you know, like, be a little creative out there. Don't be afraid to put different spins on stuff and try different things, and you might hit a lick, you know? So I'm almost done with this filling right now, about partway through. I'm just going to do where I do have another pack of the actual wrappers, but I don't know if I'm going to open them. We're going to see how far I get with this, and if I'm not close to out of filling, then I'll save them for another day. Like I said, at $2.99, you're not really, I mean, they're in your fridge, you're not really losing anything. You'll use them eventually, so here we go. Roll her up, and another one done. And we're almost down to the end of this bowl, so I could probably do 4 more. And like I said, you know, the only thing I did is I broke apart 2 sausage links. I had Italian sausage links in the fridge that were left over, and I'm like, I could just take the skin off of it, turn it into, you know, some ground sausage, and make some egg rolls out of it. Who wants to eat sausage all the time? I mean, this is a great thing to do with your leftovers. So I don't know, what you do, but I think it's pretty good. Yeah, we're out of it. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make sure I use the rest of this filling. So give me 1 minute and let me open this here. This is another pack, and we're gonna go ahead and open these up here because I want to use all this filling. There's no sense in not. Yeah, I mean, I could have just threw away the sausage if that was the case. So because I'm using a little sausage that I had left over, let's take it all the way. So, why not? Hopefully these come out of the package nice and neat for me. This one has a little tear in it, so we'll put that one aside, from me cutting it open. But hey, it is what it is. So I think I'm only going to get 2 more, but hey, why waste it, right? So there we go. I'll roll this bad boy up just like this. You don't want anything coming out of the ends. If you got anything coming out of the ends, it's going to be a bad deal. So, like this one, it was already cut. So we're going to go ahead and, when I pulled it out of the package, it tore a little bit. So we'll just go grab another one. It's okay. Not a big deal. Just take your filling out of that one. Put it into this one. Put that aside. That's the thing, is when you fry these, you don't want any holes in them, You're going to end up, it's going to end up falling apart. So try not to have any holes in them. Try not to have any edges that are seeping out or anything, You make a little mistake, then just turn around and grab yourself another wrapper. They're cheap, You ain't got to go crazy, but, why not try to make it a little nice and neat, This one here, I put a little bit too much filling in it, popped out the side, but that's okay. We'll just squish it down a little bit, make the dough stick. Essentially that's what this is it's just another dough. So another version of dough, or thinner version, but I think this is going to be the last one here. So we'll go ahead and lay this one down. I might go a little bit more on this one. Just like that. Get a little angle going. Roll, 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 roll your boat gently down the stream. And then we're going to fold over. Take our last little bit. And there we go. Now, we're going to go ahead and get to frying. I'll get rid of this. Get rid of this. You don't need these. So try not to waste them, but hey, when you cut them open and sometimes you make a little cut in them, you might have to get rid of them. That's all right. They're cheap. So we don't need this. We don't need this. Put this over here. Now we're going to grab this. Okay. Paying attention? Pay attention. Here we go. All right, now we're going to start dropping these in the fryer. Like I said, I got this fryer around 400 degrees, so we'll just drop them in. I might get 2. I like to do them 2 at a time. I might be able to even get 3. We'll try 3. Like I said, it's 400 degrees. They're going to be a little heavy on one side. Don't touch them, Just wait. Just wait a minute and don't touch them. And when they are pretty much brown on one side, you're going to just flip them over, just a little rotation. So, and they go fast. They really do. Like I got one side almost a little bit golden brown. So, it's going to take a little bit of patience, but I'm hoping that this has that Philly cheesesteak kind of swagger to it, only with Italian sausage. So I don't see what's wrong with that. How could that not be yummy? You know, I would like to do one that has egg in it with a little bit of Italian sausage in it. You know, make it like a breakfast burrito type thing. Only we're doing it in egg rolls, you know? I mean, take it wherever you want to take it. It's okay. You know, nobody's here judging you. So, we'll roll them. Gotta roll this bad boy over. It keeps on wanting to flip-flop. Cooperate with me. Cooperate with me. There we go. Now they're cooperating. Now they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's okay. Push them down a little bit. You know, use your tongs. Push them down a little bit. You know, you don't want them floating to the top. You can use a basket. You can use whatever you want. But if you hold the tongs a little bit on them, they're going to get nice and golden brown all over. So, and what do we get? We got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Almost 15 out of this, okay, out of that little bowl. That's not bad, you know. 15, you eat 3 of them, put the rest in the freezer, you know. Now you have some for another day. Now they're starting to get nice and golden brown. Talk dirty to me, you know. Hey, what you guys doing in there? Just hanging out. Everybody in the pool party, right? Everybody's in the pool party. So, here we go. They're almost done. And this cheese is just going to melt throughout the whole thing, you know. Once you've hit the fryer, it's just going to melt. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let me show you. We're going to take one of these. See this? Look at it. Doesn't that look delicious? Huh? We're going to keep on frying. That's alright. You know, just get them onto a plate. Get them taking out the oil. Just like this. You know. There we go. We got some nice egg rolls. We're going to wait for this. And like I said, you can do all kinds of things in this. I mean, I want to do, really, I almost did today, I almost did a breakfast one. I wanted to take do like a scrambled egg, you know, with a little bit of peppers in there and a little bit of maybe some of those serranos and then a little bit of sausage and a little bit of cheddar cheese. I think that would make a great egg roll, you know? I mean, why wouldn't it? So, who cares on what kind of container you put them in? You're just using the wrapper as the container, you know? Making it that finger food. So, here we go. We're going to do it all over again. You know, the important part, too, is that little edge that you put the egg wash on, you want to make sure that sticks. Because if it doesn't stick and stick real well, then you run the risk of it falling apart in here. But we ain't about that. We ain't doing that. So, it's all coming out all right. It's going to take a minute, you know, just bear with me. Bear with me. I hope everybody had a good holiday. I hope, you know, you didn't go too crazy during the Black Friday thing and people got, you know, people take it easy a little bit, you know. You got to realize that Black Friday, yeah, there's some good deals out there, but most of the deals come after Black Friday, you know, all the way to Christmas. So what you so antsy about? You know, the deals aren't really the deals until it gets close. You know that. I mean, when do you buy your candy? After Halloween, right? You're going to get the best deal. Just like them steaks that I had the other day. I bought them after the holiday, you know. They load up on that stuff. Now you're getting a discount on it, you know. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means, hey, we got too much product. It didn't sell. We got to mark it down, right? You know. So you watch for them things, you know. You have to keep an eye out on those things and know what's a good time to buy, you know. A good time to buy is always after the holidays. You know, go get your Christmas tree after the holiday. You're going to get yourself a good deal on a Christmas tree. We all know that. Because what are you going to do with Christmas trees all day long? You know, you ain't got to sell them come New Year's. You don't need them in New Year's. Maybe you're going to have your Christmas tree up till New Year's. That's fine. But here we go. There we go. We're getting golden. Nice and golden brown. I want to sink them a little bit. Sink them. Sink or swim. That's the world we live in, you know. It's sink or swim. So we're going to do the sink. It's going to come back with the swim. And then we're going to put it down on our belly. So here we go. Rocking and rolling, baby. Rocking and rolling. This is what you should be doing all the time. You know, here we go. Bam. Here's one more. Let that oil drain off there a little bit. Let that oil drain off. Okay? Gonna do this one. Let that oil drain off a little bit. I mean, it's gonna soak it up on the paper towel, but let it do its thing. You know, don't rush the situation. Let it drain a little bit. This way when you eat it, it's not like eating a pizza roll where you shoot the thing all over your chin. Everybody done that. The pizza roll comes out and they're like, oh, I can't wait to eat. You bite into it and then what happens? It comes out the backside, lands on your chin. The next thing you know, hey, it's on fire. My face is on fire, right? We're not looking for that. See, I got one that might have come apart here, but I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold the edge. I'll show you which one it was. If I hold the edge long enough, it will just form into that direction. And then it won't come unwrapped, you know. You're going to have some mistakes along the way. This one, it was too big, you know. It's okay. It'll solid up. It's doing it right now. I'm making sure I'm holding it down. If you have one that comes apart, hold it down in there. Take the little part that came undone and just hold the rest of it down. And it will seal up against itself. You just don't want to, you know, you just don't want to overstuff these too much. That's why I try to keep them all uniform, but, you know, as things sit around a little bit, they want to come undone. So, I'm trying to get as many of these done as I can, you know, without having them sit around too long. So, we're almost there. See that one reformed, even though that it was going to come apart. Once it got nice and crispy, you know, it's kind of like a curly potato chip, you know. It'll end up sealing up itself and folding back over or whatever it does. So you gotta let the food do what it does, you know. You can't force things, so shit's gonna happen, but it's how you recover from it. So it's doing its thing. I'm going to show you the one I'm talking about here in a minute. Once it comes out, you're going to see what I was talking about. Because, like I said, I try to keep them all nice and uniform. And I try to do the best I can. But you're going to have that one that comes apart. You know, that one that just wants to be an SOB, you know. Here, look. I'll show you right here. This is her. I'll put it on the side. Okay? Here, look. See? The edge come apart a little bit. It's okay. Once it got folded back down, it ended up doing its thing, crisping up, and now we're back to golden. So that one I might have to eat first, you know? I mean, you don't want to have, I mean, it's just like a cake. If you have a cake that flops, you got to eat it. You just can't throw it away, right? There we go. We got two more of these bad boys. And I'm going to show you how the plating goes. So, sorry, I got a little bit of flour on me again. You know, it's always about the flour. You got to stop and smell the roses. I stop and smell the flour, you know. It's the way it goes sometimes. It is what it is. So, these ones are nice. They're all sticking together. They're looking delicious. You know, I mean, I can't say that this is a bad thing. And like I said, you can get an assembly line going. Get your kids doing it, you know, rolling up and putting the stuffing in, and then one person's working the fryer, you know. I'm a one-man show over here, so sorry if these videos go a little long, but this is the process. I want to show you from start to finish how this goes. You know, I get a lot of questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? Can you make this recipe? Can you make that recipe? Yeah, I can, but you know what? It's easier for me to show you. And you're more than welcome to ask me anytime. Can you do this? Can you do a video doing this? I can try, you know. That's all I can do is try. If I had the barbecue, if it was barbecue weather out there and wasn't snowing, I'd be out there showing you how I barbecue, you know. Barbecue is a big deal. Some people do it right, some people don't do it right, you know. People got a lot of questions. Hey, if I was smoking this, how would I do this? What's the time and temperature? How long do I wrap it for? You know, I mean, it's a lot easier to watch a video and do it, you know. Watch somebody, it's a little educational for you. You know, and you can put whatever spin you want on it. I'm just giving you the bare basics, you know. If you like this recipe, then, hey, maybe you like putting a little spin on it yourself and turning it into your own, and that's fine, you know. Like I said, this is just to give you some options and show you different ways to go about things. You know, you got to be a little creative out there on this budget, and you got to work with what you got, and leftovers are fine sometimes, you know. Here we go. That's a nice crispy one. That's a beautiful crispy one. Here's another one. Beautiful, you know. It's doing the job. It's doing the job. This one's good, you know. You don't want to take them too far where they get real dark, because then you just, you know, it's going to be way crunchy. Which, if you like that, that's fine, but I like to keep it a little bit of all the same. Here, I'm going to show you a little plating here, and what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that these brown up real quick and don't come undone. You know, I don't want them to come undone, so here we go. I'm using them to weight. I'm using a little bit of weight from the tongs, pushing it down a little bit, just until it starts to get golden. Then they can go on their own, you know. But you just want to make sure that that initial one, that initial hard fry, that you end up getting it nice and crisp. And now I can let it go, you know. Now they're floating around in there. I'll probably weigh them down a couple more times. I'm going to let those brown up for a minute. It's okay. We're cooking with love, right? That's what we're doing. We're cooking with love. Everything you do out there has to be done with love, you know. Put your heart and soul into it. People will appreciate it, you know. There's nothing better than getting around a table. You know, yeah, you might have worked hard at it, and it might have took all day, but you know what? When you finally see people appreciating it and smiling and having drinks and the talking and the joy that is on people's faces, make all the time worth it, right? That's what it does. It makes the time worth it. You know, you actually get to see. Cooking is something that you get to see what the benefits are at the end. You know, there's a lot of jobs that you do that you don't ever see the benefits. You don't ever get to see people enjoy the fruits of your labor, you know. Here, everybody you cook for gets to talk about the fruits of your labor and how wonderful it was or how shitty it was, depending on what you cooked, you know. People are real quick to tell you all about it. Look at it. Here, look at it. You see this plate? See how full this plate is? Look at, look. See? Look at, all egg rolls, right? All Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. So let's get a little plate. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna grab one of these. Okay? Let me grab these tongs here. We're gonna lay out 3 of these egg rolls, right? 1, 2, 3. I don't need all of them. I just need 3 of them, you know. That's plenty enough, okay? Now these these all go in the freezer, you know. That's a lot of meals if you're only eating 3, and you can space them out whatever way you want. Now we're going to take a little bit of honey, right? Told you. We're going to take a little bit of honey. We're going to go like this. We're going to go this way with it, you know, little crisscross action. Then we're going to go in here. We're going to get ourselves a little bit, you know me, I like my onion. We're going to take a little bit of onion, okay? We're going to throw it on there so that it all sticks. We want it to stick to that honey, right? You know, we're going to have it stick to the honey. Look at, here it is. This is the plating project. Oh, don't roll away. Don't roll away. But yeah, that's the plating in here. Let's take a look. Okay. Wait. Salsiccia, a little bit of heat, nice sweet, can't go wrong. Come over to my house. We'll eat. Keep cooking and stay tuned for more great videos.